if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head.
Hello Lumine family, welcome back to Lumine K-Pop, a place where we not only talk about the glitz and glamour of Korean entertainment, but also delve into the real stories behind the spotlight. Today, we will open a page that you may have never heard, the story of the struggles of two big stars, Taehyung and Jungkook, who have secretly hidden the deepest wounds behind their smiles.
With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string.
Amidst the dazzling spotlight of the seemingly perfect K-pop world, where stage lights dazzle and fans' lies echo throughout the stadium, there are two figures who have long been considered almost untouched by fatigue and pain, Kimtaehyung and Jungkook. These two names not only represent incredible success, but have also become symbols of hope, strength, and beauty in every sense of the word for millions of fans around the world. They are a light in the dark, a solace in loneliness, and an inspiration to many. But behind the charming smiles and perfect aura that they always show, who would have thought that they secretly carry such a heavy burden, deep wounds that are never seen, and such deep sadness which slowly eats away at their souls? An investigative report that recently surfaced reveals another side of the lives of the two youngest members of BTS that the public has never known. Compiled over years of observation, secret interviews, leaked medical data, and behavioral analysis, this report is not only touching, but also shocking to the bottom of anyone's heart who reads it. Not just rumors, but fragments of truth that have long been buried behind the glitter of popularity. Taehyung and Jungkook, since their teenage years, have been faced with extraordinary pressure to always be perfect. They grew up not as ordinary teenagers who learned to know themselves in a colorful world, but as public figures whose every move is exaggerated, every expression is observed, and every small mistake is exaggerated. They live in a world where mistakes are not only not forgiven, but are made into cruel public consumption.
Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string.
A former staff member from their agency even described how the two would smile on stage, dancing and singing as if their world was perfect, when in fact, minutes before the performance, they would sit in the silence of the dressing room, their eyes still swollen with tears. They were not strong, quite the opposite. They were strong enough to hide their wounds from the world for years. But even strength has its limits. In a leaked personal note from one of their counseling sessions, a heartbreaking sentence was written: "We just want to be human again, even if it's just for a little while." This sentence is clear evidence that behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world, there is a small, simple request to be able to rest, to be able to breathe without pressure, to be able to feel free to be ourselves without having to think about the world's expectations.
Sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, think you're something out of my night.
However, the request was never truly granted, because in the South Korean entertainment industry, fame is a more valuable currency than mental health. Delayed breaks, tight schedules, strict contracts, and internal pressure from management made the request a passing wind. Slowly but surely, the feeling of losing control over their own lives became a wound that festered silently. Taehyung, with his sensitive and expressive personality, began to show signs of emotional exhaustion, like the loss of light in his eyes in some interviews or the odd pause in his usual smile. Jungkook, the golden boy, had to face double the pressure, not only as the youngest member, but also as an all-round talent who was always expected to excel in everything. There was no room for them to be weak, let alone fail.
You keep me on red, oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
Even more heartbreaking, the report also revealed betrayal from people they should have been able to trust. From non-transparent financial management, contract manipulation, to emotional exploitation by close parties. All of this formed an internal storm that could not be told to anyone, not even to the fans they always called their source of strength. They endured it all alone, in silence, in a forced smile. And now, as bits of truth begin to surface, the world seems to have just realized that even stars can be fragile, that even light can get tired of shining.
I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing.
The reaction from ways around the world has been extraordinary. For the first time, fans who used to cry because of their song lyrics or beautiful performances now cry because they realize that behind all that, their idols are struggling in unimaginable silence. Small moments that were once missed are now replayed. Blank stares in the middle of interviews, hugs that are tighter than usual, laughter that sounds a little hollow. Everything now seems to have new meaning, painful meaning. But amidst the emotion, one big question that cannot be avoided arises: is all this true?
I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings.
In an era where information spreads faster than the truth, we are faced with a major dilemma. Are we witnessing the real revelation of long-hidden wounds? Or are we being led by a narrative that has not been fully verified? The fact that most of this information comes from unofficial reports and unconfirmed leaks does raise doubts. But is it enough to turn a blind eye to the fact that the pressures of K-pop are real? That the mental and emotional scars of idols are not something that is made up? That they, no matter how strong their image, are still human and can be broken?
And will you get bored of me? But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby,
Maybe in the end, it's not about whether all the details in this report are true or not. But this is a moment for us to look deeper, more honestly, and more humanly. To stop demanding endless perfection from the people who have been the light in our lives. To start making room for them to feel enough, to feel safe, and to feel loved, not because they are perfect, but because they dare to keep going.
Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm.
Taehyung and Jungkook are not just idols. They are a reminder that behind every song, behind every dance, behind every cheer, there are tears that fall silently. And now, for the first time, the world is starting to hear them. Hopefully, this is not the end, but the beginning of a change. Not just for them, but for the entire entertainment world that has forgotten that mental health cannot be bought with sold-out concert tickets. Maybe it's time we stop asking so much of them and start giving them what they need most: understanding.
Come off desperate.
but if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get.
No matter what happens, one thing we must never forget: they are still human, just like us. So let's continue to send unconditional love, prayers, and support to Taehyung, Jungkook, and all the idols who work hard for our happiness. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that Lumine K-pop can continue to be a home for fans who care. Because here, we are not just viewers, we are family.
Understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing. Sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one